Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome to my NFL Week 8 recaps. I'm Mason Pesky, your host here for you. I'm going to move over a little bit. Sorry about that. Just because of the light there, I always try when I'm here to block out that light. For some reason, I don't know. I don't like it, and I don't want it to do a weird image on my face. But anyway, though, I'm not going to talk much about the light because there's a lot to talk about today, and I'm on a tight schedule, so we got to get moving. So here we go, right into it, Week 8. We got 15 games to talk about, nobody to buy. I discussed the Steelers lost to Jacksonville on my Steelers Game Day postgame, so we gave versus Jacksonville Jaguars. So yeah. Anyway, though, let's talk about Thursday. What happened on Thursday night? The Buffalo Bills barely beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-18 in Orchard Park. The Bills have a lot to worry about. They're not that good this year. 5-3, but that's not their standards, and we all know that's not their standards. They should probably be 6-2, even 7-1. If they wouldn't have lost those games to New England and the Jets, those would come back to bite them, and they're coming back to bite them right now. So this definitely hurts a little bit for sure for the Buffalo Bills. But those two losses hurt for sure for the Bills. I mean, they did lose flat out, honestly, to Jacksonville in London. That was a total honest loss. But other than that, this team should be 7-1. And depending on, I forget what the final score of that game was. That Buffalo-Jacksonville game. $25-20. So you can make the argument this team could be 8-0. I mean, it's not like they've gotten ever blown out. But they're certainly not beating teams like Tampa the way they should be. So as for Tampa, they've lost their past 3 games. This team was a surprise to begin the year. Now they're finally, it seems like, come back down to earth. And who knows? Dave Canales is great. Baker Mayfield had a little bit of a miracle there, but just didn't work out, it seems like. But Tampa Bay's still in it, and they still have life. Moving on now to Sunday, one of the big upsets of the week, but not the big upset of the week because we all know what that is. We'll get into that in a couple minutes. Here, Panthers defeated the Houston Texans 15-13. Bryce Young's first NFL career win coming against C.J. Stroud, one of his best friends. They grew up near each other, and they went 1-2 in the draft this past spring. Young to Carolina, obviously, and Stroud to Houston, obviously. But it was not a good day, it seems like, there weren't a lot of touchdowns. A lot of field goals for Eddie Pinheiro and the Carolina Panthers, and that's how they get their first win. His first win, Frank Reich's first win, Carolina's head coach. And as for Houston, this is a tough loss for sure because these are the kind of games you should win. These are the kind of games you need to win. You're 3-4 right now. You should be 4-3. And you're going into Tampa, so I don't see much out of this team. I mean, this team, if they get 6-7 wins, that should be a successful year for them, that's for sure. But this probably screwed up their playoff aspirations if they had any. So tough loss for the Texans. Cowboys took it to the Rams on Sunday. They beat them 43-20 in Dallas. CeeDee Lamb went off. Dak Prescott went off. Big day for the Cowboys. They absolutely destroyed and exposed the Rams' weak defense. Aaron Donald, it seems like, was a non-factor in this game. Unfortunately for them, the Rams, the Pitt product, his Penn State counterpart, Micah Parsons' team, that defense it wasn't perfect because they did allow 20 points, but it was still impressive, and that's how they got the win. So good job for Dallas. That was a big win for them. And now they get ready to take on their arch rivals in the city of brotherly love, that being the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's a big game coming this week. As for the Rams, they just need a break. They just need a break. I think, I'm not 100% certain, but they might be going on bye. That'd be nice for them if they are. Let me just check. No, they're actually not going on bye. They're going to Green Bay. So they need to respond quickly here to this. Green Bay's not very good either, so yeah, for sure. Good opportunity, though, for the Rams upcoming. Vikings beat the Packers 24-10. And this one, it was a tough win, though, for the Vikings as quarterback Kirk Cousins suffered a torn Achilles, and he is now out for the season. Prayers up to him. Hopefully Kirk Cousins gets better soon. Speedy recovery. I'm really hoping because he's been nothing but great for Minnesota. And, yeah, so Hopefully he gets better soon, and hopefully this is not the way his Vikings career ends. The Vikings did get a win, though. That was an impressive win. That's restored for Minnesota. They're sitting now pretty at 4-4. Started the year 1-4, won 3 straight. They're right back in the playoff race, so it'll be interesting to see if they could get in as a wild card. We'll get to Detroit at the very end because that's the last game. It was a crazy one, but yeah, we'll tie about that, and the Vikings are looking good. Sorry to burp. As for the Packers, not very good. You're sitting at 2-5. You've lost now 4 straight games. The rebuild's finally starting to kick in for Green Bay. Started strong, beating Chicago earlier in the year. Then they came home, beating New Orleans. But, man, now that I think about it, this Packers team does not look very good. I mean, it has promise and it has potential, but it's just not where it needs to be right now. Next game, we have the Saints defeating the Colts 38-27 in Indy. This game surprised me for sure. Colts took the Browns down to the wire. Just a short week ago, they lost the game 38 to Cleveland. And I expected them to carry that momentum into this game and be out strong and beat a Saints team. It's nowhere near the level of Cleveland, in my opinion. However, the Saints took it to them. Rashid Shaheed, I think is his name. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Went off this week, had a big week. Carr, the offense, Kamara, they all had a big week for sure. The Saints are now sitting pretty at 4-4. Not bad for them. The Colts are 3-5. They're in trouble. It might be time for them to call it a year, unfortunately. And hopefully next year, Anthony Richardson comes back better and stronger than ever. But the Colts are doing much better than I expected to, so congratulations to them. Even though it's not been going to be a successful season for them, it's really good in my terms. So good job to the Colts. Not much to say here. The Dolphins beat the Patriots 31-17 in Miami. Sorry, my nose just hit this. But anyway, though, the Dolphins beat the Patriots 31-17 in Miami. There's not much to say here, like I just said. Patriots are just bad. I mean, they have no talent. They lost their main receiver, Kendrick Bourne. It looks like he's going to be out for the year. They don't have much of a quarterback. They don't have much going for them right now. So these next 2 games are huge for the Patriots. This whole month of November coming up is actually huge to the Patriots because today's actually October 31st. So happy Halloween, everybody, to all those listening. So happy Halloween to you all. It's actually the trade deadline. I'll get to that in my Mondays with Mason episode this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or I'm going to do that as soon as I'm done with this. So keep an eye out for that. But anyway, though, this month of November is huge for the Patriots. They play the Commanders Sunday. Then they play the Colts over Germany. Bye week at the Giants. If they lose at least 2 out of those 3 games, that would put them at 3-8 right after Thanksgiving. And at that point, I mean, you really need to be trying to get a top draft pick if you're in New England because some of these quarterbacks are really good coming out. So, yeah, even if they lose all 3 games, that might be good for the Patriots at this point. The worst case scenario is they go like 7-10, 8-9, and miss the playoffs. So that's not a good thing for New England if that happens. As for Miami, they're 6-2. They're going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to win that division. It'll be a dogfight here over these next 2 months between them and Buffalo. So yeah, keep an eye out. But Miami's looking good. Tyreek and Waddle, Tua, scary offense. We all know. Alrighty, now we're going to go to the Battle of the Big Apple. That's a new nickname that I came up with for that rivalry. The Jets defeating the Giants 13-10 at the Meadowlands. So the funny thing about this is they're the New York Jets, they're the New York Giants, and they're playing a New York football game in New Jersey. Obviously, I know their stadium is in New Jersey, but all the other New York sports franchises, like you got the Mets, you got the Yankees, you got the Rangers at the Garden, got the Islanders, got the Nets, got the Knicks at the Garden. I mean, every other New York franchise has their stadium in the city. You can't tell me that on one of those little neighborhoods there, even if it's out like Long Island, that there's no room for a football stadium. I mean, there's room for 2 major airports. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to bash New Jersey at all, because New Jersey is a beautiful state. I love it. But I'm surprised I'm surprised they didn't build MetLife Stadium in New York City, somewhere like where they built like Citi Field and that. So yeah, it's fun. It's funny. That's my point. But anyway, you know what else is funny? How close this game was. I expected the Jets to blow them out. The Jets did not do that. They needed a late miracle to win, and they got it. So good job to the Jets. You're sitting pretty at 4-3. Even though Zach Wilson's your quarterback, this team's good. And that tells you something. Nathaniel Hackett wasn't the problem in Denver. We'll get to them in a couple minutes, because what they did was good. But maybe that move was the best for everybody. So yeah, we'll get to that later. As to the Giants, yeah, they're pretty bad. So interesting. Not a good day to be a Giants fan. Titans! This was probably one of my more favorite games of the week. Titans beat the Falcons 28-23 in Nashville. The reason it was one of my more favorite games was because I'm a huge Will Levis fan. I was very highly scouted of him. Ranked him as my 4th overall prospect. He had a big day, 4 passing touchdowns. Sewed off that arm. And he's one of my favorites from this year's draft. So very happy he went off. Very happy he did good. As for the Falcons, sorry, I just want to take a quick drink. As for the Falcons, they're looking good still. They still have control of that NFC South, and so yeah, keep an eye out for them. And then the Titans, they're 3-4. Hopefully they keep Levis under center a little while longer, because him and D-Hop, they have a connection all right. So yeah, big day for D-Hop. Eagles made this game more interesting than it should have been. They beat the Commanders by a final score of 38-31. Like I said, they made it more interesting than it probably should have been, but the Eagles are still a good football team, though. They're 7-1. They're the best team in the NFL. Following a loss by another team, the team they got beat by in the Super Bowl, who we'll get to very soon, as I've been promising you. But yeah, Eagles look good. Devonta Smith had a big day. Jalen Hurts had a huge day. A.J. Brown, obviously. Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift. This team just finds ways to do it. With their line, they're everything. So, big win for the Eagles. That's for sure. So, as for the Commanders, they're 3-5, but they're better than their record indicates. They fight like crazy, but just not enough to compete with a team like the Eagles quite yet. Seahawks beat the Browns 24-20 in Seattle. This was a huge win to Seattle for the implications it means to them, which we'll get to later after we talk about San Francisco. I'm sorry I'm delaying everything. It's just I'm going in order of the games from their game time. 1 o'clock to 4:25, and then Monday night will be last. But Seahawks look really good this year. I'm not going to lie. This is a serious Super Bowl contender. That is for sure. So, yeah, keep an eye on Seattle. They're going to be serious, and they're going to be around for a long time. As for the Browns, they're still a very good football team. They're still a very competitive football team. That defense is phenomenal, but just not enough today. It's always hard to win in Seattle, and they almost did it. So I give them a lot of credit. And sorry to burp. This team is still really good. So, yeah, definitely keep an eye out on them. That's for sure. Everyone in the AFC North now is above 500. Interesting. We'll get to that later, too. Ravens beat the Cardinals 31-24 in Arizona. This game was not as close as the score indicates. Baltimore just dominated this game. Arizona just came alive late. I know it was a big betting thing. I didn't read the full story, but I know there was something that happened with betting in this game. Let's see. Because now I'm interested. And airplane mode's on. I just hit airplane mode on my computer. Airplane mode is off now. Oh my gosh. What an idiot I can be some days. What an idiot I can be some days. But anyway, though, let's see what this situation... Okay. The Ravens closed as 9.5-point favorites in the game. And then at the very end, it was 31-24. And then Arizona kicked a field goal, I guess, at the last second to make it, instead of 31-21, 31-24. So Arizona made a last-second field goal. That's what screwed up better. So I guess that's what happened. Sorry to you guys all who bet on the Ravens to win. Or who bet on the Ravens. So, yeah. Anyway, though, as for Baltimore, they're 6-2. They're looking good. They might be the favorites in the AFC right now. So, good vibes in Baltimore, that's for sure. Arizona's 1-7. They made a QB change. Josh Dobbs is out as quarterback there. Either Clay Tune or Kyler Murray is going to play this week, so definitely interesting, that's for sure. We all expected Arizona to be bad, but they're fighting. At least they're fighting, so give them that. They remind me of the 2021 Lions, to be honest, so maybe in 2 years they'll be up there. And now it's time for the game you've all been waiting for. I've been delaying it, but delay no more. The Denver Broncos defeated the Kansas City Chiefs 24-9 at Empower Field at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado to end the losing streak. They had not beaten the Chiefs since I was in elementary school. 5th grade. Peyton Manning was the quarterback. They finally did it. Wow, good job, Denver. But anyway, though, all seriousness, good win for the Broncos, that's for sure. They're now sitting pretty at 3 and, well, not sitting pretty, but they're sitting better at 3-5. As long as they keep winning, even if they get like a 7-10, 8-9 season out of this, I mean, that's still better. And then they'll still have a lot of momentum and stuff going into next year. Everyone was saying this team needed a full all-out teardown. I don't think that's necessary at this point. I would wait out the rest of the season to decide what you want to do with these guys. You could always trade them for draft picks after the season's over, but yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson might be your answer for sure, but yeah, I don't know. But Denver's on the right track. It seems like Denver's finally got their footing, and they're on the right track. That's for sure. As for Kansas City, this is obviously a tough loss. They don't play well when Taylor Swift is not in attendance. For some reason, I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. Travis Kelce, they showed the stats. When Taylor Swift is in attendance, he always does better than when he is not in attendance. And that's probably a good thing because he's touring in Argentina this weekend, and I play against Kelce in fantasy this coming weekend. So that's probably a good thing that C's not going to be at the game because he has always had good nights when C's there, but he was like limited to, I think, 8.5 points in my one league. So, yeah, he has not done very good. As for the Chiefs, that's for sure. When C's not there, they're going to need him, though, because they have a big game against Miami this Sunday. Maybe this was just a bad loss for the Chiefs, but, yeah. Big win for Denver. So, congratulations to Sean Payton. Congratulations to Russell Wilson. Congratulations to the Wallen Penners. Congratulations to George Patton. Congratulations to the whole team. Bengals pull off an upset. I picked this one. I told you guys. I called this one. Bengals upset the 49ers 31-17 in San Francisco. I think the 49ers are hurt now that they don't have Deebo. Deebo Samuel is a major playmaker in that 49ers offense. And I think right now that's what their biggest issue is. They don't have Deebo, and they need Deebo. So once they get Deebo back, I think they will be A-okay. So don't fear not, 49ers fans, because he'll be back soon. So just keep optimistic. You're going into the bye week. You have a talented roster. You're on all those kids, so it'll be fine. As for the Bengals, they're now 4-3. Joe Burrow is him. He is back. He is ready. He is better than ever. And the Bengals, don't count them out for the division quite yet, because they might get it after all. So yeah, here come the Bengals. Keep an eye out for them. Last game, this is such a stupid game to put on Sunday Night Football. I will never understand why the NFL picked this game, but Chargers beat the Bears 30-13 at SoFi. The Bears are just bad. I mean, they're in the race for the top pick. They're in the race for the top pick in the draft for a reason. This is a bad roster. Everybody knows it at this point. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. As for the LA Chargers, they're okay. I mean, they're on the right track now. They're looking much better, and so yeah, that's for sure. Hopefully the Chargers continue to pick it up a bit. Monday Night Football. Last night I didn't watch this game at all. I was actually doing some personal stuff and scouting and some studying, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely not my night to watch football, but I did follow this game. The Detroit Lions defeated the Las Vegas Raiders 26-14 in Detroit, Michigan on Monday night. This was a big win for the Lions, that's for sure. Definitely got back in the win column. It wasn't as pretty as a win as, since I'm kind of a Lions fan, obviously you could tell with the Michigan sweatshirt on. I'm somewhat of a Michigan sports fan, so yeah. But anyway, though, Michigan and Pittsburgh, obviously, because I love Pittsburgh. That's my hometown. And I go to Pitt. But anyway, though, it was definitely not the best of wins, but a win's a win, and I'll take it. Jahmyr Gibbs is him. The Lions, I think, have their new RB1. I hope he stays RB1. He has a lot of potential. He has done nothing but great things for the team in the Motor City. So yeah, hopefully he keeps up his winning ways. And hopefully the Lions keep up their winning ways. They have a bye week. They head to LA. Then it's home for Chicago and Green Bay. So yeah, the schedule gets much better for them. They don't really have like a tough game until at New Orleans, if that is a tough game. And then after that, they play Christmas Eve at Minnesota. And then December 30th at Dallas. And then the last week against Minnesota. So really, this is not a horrible schedule. They can easily go 12-5, 11-6. And get a top seed. I still think Minnesota's a threat for them for the division. But I think they'll hold on. I think they'll win the NFC North this year. So, yeah. In terms of the Raiders, they're just a mess right now. They're 3-5, and they need help. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think McDaniels lasts past this year for the Raiders. Maybe Ziegler. I doubt it. I doubt they both stay. One's going to go. That's for sure. But, yeah, I mean, this team needs a lot of fixing. How about Cameron Sutton? Wow, good job for him. Dan Campbell obviously learned something from last Christmas Eve. Last year on Christmas Eve, when Sutton was covering Davante Adams in the Steelers-Raiders game, Adams only had one catch for 12 yards. Last night in fantasy when I checked, Adams had one catch for like 14 yards, I think. And they probably, I don't know for sure, but they probably did have Sutton on him. So Sutton has Davante Adams' number. I was so upset when he left Pittsburgh. This is truly a talented cornerback. It was one of the best draft picks Kevin Colbert made when he was GM here, but Cameron Sutton's the real deal. That was probably one of the best signings Detroit has made in a long time. Sorry to burp. Sorry again. But Detroit's looking good, 6-2. Vegas is not 3-5. Anyway, though, this is a crazy time of year for the NFL. Obviously, week 8. This week's the last week before we head into the second half of the season. Time is going so fast. Tomorrow's November 1st. It's crazy if you think about it, but yeah. I always tend to say the season starts after Thanksgiving because of the way it is. It's so crazy and all that because really, there was teams last year that were 7-3. The Titans at Thanksgiving or going into Thanksgiving, they missed the playoffs altogether. And then the teams like the Jaguars, 3-7, they came back, they made the playoffs, and then they provided some hype. This season's nowhere near over. Denver reminds me so much of Jacksonville. Obviously, they had the chaos of 2021 in Jacksonville. Denver had the chaos of 2022 in Denver. Hired an experienced head coach after that. Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, Sean Payton in Denver. Started out slow in Jacksonville in 22, started out slow in Denver in 23. Came back, went on a run, made the playoffs. in 22 for Jacksonville. Came back. They possibly can make the playoffs in Denver for 23. Don't count Denver out. They are definitely a sleeper, and they can definitely fight their way back into this. I would be so optimistic right now if I were a Broncos fan. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot left to go. The season's just getting started. Can't wait for Thanksgiving. Definitely a long second half, that's for sure. Nothing is set in stone. That's all I'm going to tell you. Nothing is set in stone. Just remember that. This season's going to be great. The second half coming up here after this week is going to be crazy. And buckle up for the ride because it's going to be a fun one. And I will be with you all throughout it. That's all I have for you guys today. Have a good one. Take care. Stay safe. Happy Halloween. Be your best. Pray for Israel. And as always, peace. See you around.